Repairing plastic components on a lawnmower hood. William Hovey Smith, 2027. This is Hovey Smith, the Backyard Sportsman. And before I go out for turkey hunting this morning, we have a unit that needs attention. This is the hood of my Craftsman Lawnmower, and it has suffered some trauma. In fact, I rammed it here accidentally and broke this portion out, as you see, and it separated all the way back here. This piece is bent up and out. This is where it actually attaches to the lawnmower unit, and this is steel versus this material here, which is a heavy plastic, and we're going to repair it. Now, in repairing this, there are modern glues which work very well, but they need some time to set. And so, before I go out for turkey hunting this morning, I'm going to disassemble these units, glue this long part here, and let it set all day. Now, the material says it'll set in 15 minutes. Well, I want to give it longer than that. Then when I come back, I'll further start working on these parts here and put another coating of adhesive on this to reinforce it. The poor unit here took a bashing. You can see that this section here is altogether missing. Well, fortunately, I have recovered it, and this is in 3 pieces, plus this piece here, which will be detached, can be worked on separately. The metal here has been bent. This bent back, as you can see. So the first thing we'll do is to actually take off these parts here so I can work on them separately while the rest of the unit is actually glued, set up, and drying. These components are held on by tiny little screws, and fortunately I have a socket set that's fairly complete, you see in the background, so we're going to be able to get at these and get these out of here. Our next task is detaching plastic from steel. So the steel part is the one that actually holds it to the frame. And these are self-locking nuts on the other side. Typical nut and bolt thing. So let's see what we got here. Washer. Need a gentle tap. There we go. Okay. We'll be so fortunate to do the other one is easily. That one's turning on me, all right. Okay, we're going to have to back it. Okay, we've got some vice grips on it now, so. All right, done, done. This reattachment is going to be very critical. Now, how is this piece? Fortunately, we have the other one. All right. Now, that's a strange bend right there. We'll have to compare it with the one on the other side of the machine to see if it's really supposed to be there or not. This area right here is what I'm going to try for first. And I'm using JB Quick Weld here. And now we start. Okay. Now set it just like that. That's good. Now, I've ever so gently wiped off some of the external spill there. The mark of the glue on the inside is much more prominent, and I'll put another layer or two or three or four on top of that. Every time I work this piece and leave it, yeah, we're going to put another layer on. So that will continue to strengthen that bond. Support this channel by buying my outdoor books, business books, novels, and watching my over 1,000 YouTube videos. A unique thing I do is a series of ebooks, including muzzleloaders for hunters, buying used muzzleloading guns, shooting and maintaining your muzzleloader, hunting with muzzleloading pistols, hunting big and small game with muzzleloading revolvers, muzzleloading guns for self-defense, and even building your own muzzleloader. And these are all connected with YouTube video. One of the critical parts of this assembly is attaching this piece, because this actually takes the stress of the mate to this on the other side when you mount the hood on and off the lawnmower. So this must go right like there. And what I'm going to do is I have a piece of flat stock here, and I am going to bend and cut that and use this as a washer here, so I can thread a nut and bolt through this, hold it and retain it on here. We have the stock set up in the drill. The cutting off. I've recovered a couple of Phillips head nuts and bolts with integral lock washers, and so this is what I'm going to run through the plastic on the outside to further attach this piece to the work. Now this will give a good bond and pull everything together, because there is a slight bend, and I want both glue bonds and these nuts and bolts to hold it, as you will see when we put it together. Rather than set up the chop saw for one piece of work, I'm just going to go ahead and take this off with a hacksaw. Okay, and we'll true that up with a grinder. Now that we have the workplace decluttered, it's time to resume work. Now we've rounded the end here to more or less replicate our washer. And now we're going to bend this at a right angle. Going to see if I can use this washer as something of a guide here. Okay. This is a bending block. These are magnets, so it clamps down on any steel. And I'm using this so I don't get an odd bend in it. Okay. Okay, we've got that ready now, and that happens to be an 11 millimeter, by the way. All right. Well, let's see how we do. Well, after trying with no success to bend that piece of aluminum to my will, we need to put in a spacer between that aluminum bar, and the plastic. So, we have a piece of wood from my miscellaneous wood box over there, about the right thickness, already rectilinear, and I pre-drilled the holes. The reason being it's much easier to drill a hole through a rectangular piece of wood than one that's going to be sloped on one side, sort of dish shaped. So we proceeded to sight the holes, and now I'm going to grind the edges here so it will more nearly flush fit the front of the lawnmower hood. Now we can use this one to mark the other side. Before we glued, did a bolt up here that you see, and this here is just about right, but this is, as you see, some distance apart. So what we need to do is take this and bend it slightly down in this direction, and then we'll get more nearly a correct fit. It's glue up and clamp up time. Well, it was sort of like wrestling with a hippopotamus. But I did manage to get my metal strap here, aluminum, bolted on here and here, tightened down. This bond here is not particularly strong. I was not able to close up that one completely, but I think I got it where it'll work. So, however it turns out, because that is there to stay, sir. To be continued. Hunt what you eat and eat what you hunt. Goodbye and God bless.